finding surface area and volume of composite figures. We're going to do volume today. Okay, so this is our first figure, and we decided to cut it into two, right? So it's up to you. You can write this on your paper if you want. It's up to you if you want to. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to split it into two figures. Remember how when we found area of composite figures, we said, okay, this is figure 1, this is figure 2, and I'm going to do the same thing for this today. So I'm going to say this is 1, and I'm going to say this is 2. Remember, we're finding volume. So 1. So this would be a rectangular prism. Do you remember how to find the volume of a rectangular prism again? If you don't know, you got to look back. Henry? Yeah, you're going to remember, you're going to just multiply all three of them together. So let's figure out our dimensions of number 1 here. So, what's this going to be? You got a guess? You're right. This is the bottom part is 16 because what is this? It tells you up here that's 16. So we're going to take the length, and then what's our width here? What are the other numbers that we need to know? Our height is what? 8, and what's the width of it then? So yeah, 16 times 8 times 6, that's going to give me that volume of that rectangular prism. So let's see, 16 times 8, well, 8 times 6 is what, 48, is that right? 16 times 48. 8 9, 11, 12, 0, 4, 2, 6. Is that what you guys got? 786. And then it'd be inches cubed, because that's just my first one. Now we got to find the second one. So the second one's also a rectangular prism. Okay, so let's figure out the dimension that we need for this. What do you think? What's that? 8? An 8, right? Oh, or this right here is what you're talking about. This and 6 again, because if this is 6, this has to be 6. 8 times 8 times 6. So it's kind of tricky to find the dimensions sometimes. You gotta look to see what you know, and maybe you gotta figure some out sometimes. That's the tricky part. So 8 and 8 and 6. Let's see, 8 times 8 is 64 times 6. Oop. To be a 4. That's right. If you make a mistake, please speak up. Please. Don't be shy. Okay, so I got all of them. So now what am I going to do? Add them together, you're right. Sure. So this would be my answer for that. So the biggest thing is to just put them into different figures. And if you even look in your book where you cut out that figure, it shows you. Can you just show this quick? Right beside that figure, it showed what they split it into. So to look at that, you can look at that too. Not that you have to have it in your notebook, but that's another good reference to look at if you didn't totally destroy that page. If you didn't, that's fine. So, Kaden? All of it's the same. Length times width times height, base times width times height, it's all the same. Yep. So like the big B, so it would be the area of your base. So for this one, it would have been 16 times 6. That would have been the area of the big B. And then times that height would have been 8. Yeah, so, yep, always the same thing. Yep. You are correct. Correct. You know, for these type of prisms, all you do is length times width times height. It's the same thing. Because length times your width is going to give you your big B and then times your height. But yeah, for everything else, you got to follow the But you got to find the area of the base and times it by the height. And then you got to be careful because you might have a pyramid. Then what do you got to do? Divide by 3. So there's a lot of steps, and that's our next one that has a pyramid. Needs more tape. Cadence has it. Josie. So you know what? This is literally putting everything together that we've done. Everything. That's why we're taking this one step at a time. There's no way we could do this all in a day. At all. Alright, so let's go to this one. Let's do this one. Let's do this one. So this would be the second one you have in your notebook or whatever. But make sure, like I said, we're going to come back tomorrow. We're going to do the surface area of this one. So leave some space next to this in your notebook. Yes, good idea. Good idea. Very good idea. Okay, so now we're going to do this. And we're just finding the volume today of this one. That's all we're doing. We're not going to do any surface area. We're taking one step at a time. Can you imagine if we did it all in one day? Never work. Never. Alright, so what do you see here? Square, easy, right? Square or cube. What else? That darn pyramid, right? So it's up to you what you want to do first. What would you rather do first? The cube? Get the you want to do the easy one first? Save the hard one for last? Okay, so we'll label this number 1. And we'll label this 2. So number 1, we're going to do the cube. And this is also just like that pyramid, or the rectangular prisms we just did. Your length times your width times your height. So what numbers am I going to use for this? 8, 8, and 8, right? So 8 times 8 times 8. 8 times 8 is 64. I feel like I should know this. 8 to the 3rd power. 5, 12. That look right? Alright, so that was the easy one. So feet cubed. Alright, now we're going to move on to that darn pyramid. And you know what? A lot of times it's easy to write out the equation before you do anything. So you just remember the equation. So remember it was this. So let's do pyramid. And it was the big B times the height, and you had to divide by 3, right? So notice I have 2 numbers in here. Which one do I not need for volume? Connor. Right, because remember, what did we call that the last time? Do you remember what we call that slant height. And that was used for what? Surface area. So that's why it's on there, because we're going to come back tomorrow and find surface area. So we don't even need to use 6.4 yet, people. Okay? So let's talk about the base of that pyramid. What's the base of that pyramid? What are the dimensions of it? What? Yep, 8 and 8, right? Because if this is 8, what does this tell me this is? Right, so that's my big B. So my big B is going to be 8 times 8. And then what's my height? What number am I going to use again? Times 5. Good. And then I'm going to divide the whole thing by 3. Nice job. Do you understand and see where we are taking all these numbers from? I hope. Let's see. 64. My gosh, the composite test. Is that for real? Yes, it is. And I think it's going to go on forever. So let's see. Minus 3. 0. 6. I think it's 106.7. It'll be 106.6666. Let's just round it to 7. Everybody get that? Okay. The biggest thing about when you divide by something like this is where people get confused, and I'm just going to back up a second. They get confused at this part. When they minus the 3, they say, oh, it goes in 1, 0, they bring 2 down. Some people are like, well, I don't know what to do now. Can 3 go into 2? So you got to put a 0 at the top. Then you're going to bring down your next thing, okay? So, the volume of that darn pyramid is this. 106.7. Now I got to add them together. 512 plus 106.7. And you know what? If you keep it at 0.6, I'm not going to count it wrong. piece? Well, it couldn't because what's it sitting on top of? A cube, so it can't have a triangular base. Unless you have a triangular pyramid, my gosh, which could really stink, but we're not going to plan on that right now. Okay? We're going to keep it simple. Okay, so the biggest thing is to keep yourself organized again today. That is key. Seriously, organization has been key this whole chapter. Oh, even though it sounds terrible, it's really not. Anybody still need this slide? No? Alright, so did you guys get this one cut out? This one's also on the bottom. This one's also on the bottom. So what do you think? Should we talk about it before we do it? What's that? Oh, come on. Could you cut the sides off? You could cut it a few different ways. You could cut it like this. Then you have three different rectangular prisms. You could cut it like this. And then it would eventually look like this. You cut this whole thing too. See what I mean? Not gonna draw it? It's in your book. It's up to you. How you want to cut it up? Honestly, this is how the way I saw it. But if you see it a different way, if you see it the other way, you like the other way better? So it'd be like this then, I believe. It's up to you guys. The good thing is both of these are going to be the same, right? Both of those are going to be the same. So really, we just need to find one and multiply it by 2, right? I think the 7 is just up here, yep, and then this whole thing is 9, so this would leave this at 2. Does that make sense? So this would be 2 centimeters. So it's up to you guys. It looks confusing, doesn't it? It looks tricky. Should we try it? I'm going to keep it like this since we've done this much work already. This is how I'm going to split it. Okay? Alright, so what do you want to say? Do you want to say the top one's 1? Number 1? And then 2, and then we'll also make this 2 because if we find 1, we can easily use that to find the other. So the top one would be that rectangular prism. So what numbers am I going to use there? So what, pretend these aren't even here. Let's just, it looks like a flat box is what it looks like. So 12 times 6, yeah, 6 is going to be this. And then times by 2, right? So let's see, what do we say? This was 6, 2. So 12 and 6 and 2, do you guys see all those numbers? 2, because you see how this is 7, this whole thing is 9, so we had to figure out how tall that part was. We had to figure out how thick it is. Okay? So 12 times 6 times 2. Yeah, 12 times 12 would be 144. Yeah, that's easy. I know, I don't know why. What's that? Yep, so these are 2's that, okay, so it'd be 12, because we need to know the length, and this part, and we need to know this part, and we said this was 2. Okay, see that? Yeah, it just takes some thinking. Then we need to do one of these. So that's easy. This is 1 and 6. 6 and 7, right? Because my height is 7, my length is 1, and my width is 6. So 6 times 7 times 1, I guess, would be 42. But I got to take it times 2 because of what? I have another one on that other side there. So let's say other side. So 4, 84. So these two together are 84. Now what? Now we're going to add them together. That wasn't so bad. I think, you know what the hardest part there was? Figuring out the dimensions you're missing. I think that was the hardest part. So 8, 2, 228. What is this? Centimeters? cubed. I think I did centimeters squared on my last one. Did I do that? I don't remember. I think I did. 228 centimeters squared. That's a tricky guy. He's tricky. Can we do one more example? You can do a few more. It's up to you guys. What you guys want to do? Sure. Sure. Is that better? Yes. Oh, you know what? I don't have it, but we can. We can tomorrow. I don't have it, I don't think, ready to go, but we definitely can. Should we do one more? I feel like we should do one more. And I'm going to choose one on page 692. So in your book, it's page 692. And it's number 1. It looks like this. What? It's in your book. If you want to cut it out, you can cut it out. If you'd rather do that. This is on page 692. It's number 1. And the reason why I'm going to do one like this is because I know there's one like this in your homework. Okay? Today? Today. Yep. Today. Today. Mm-hmm. You guys need more tape? Least room for this one, because we might come back and do a surface area of this one too. I'll get you some. I'll come around and get you some. Sure it stays in there. Two enough? Yeah. Anybody else over here? You just catching them all in there. I love that. Okay, so this one looks a little trickier. Because we really don't, that one top one kind of looks like a pyramid, but it's not. So what would I call something like that? Yes, triangular prism, good job. We just gotta remember, we just imagine it sitting on the other way. Okay? You can imagine it sitting the other way. So, which one do you want to do first? The rectangle, you get to keep it easy. Okay, that's fine. So we're gonna do the rectangle first. So those are easy dimensions. They give them right there for you. 13 and 6 and 8. You know what? I'm going to do it on my calculator so you guys don't have to worry about it. Okay? We're going to keep it simple here. 13 times 6 times 8 is 624 inches cubed. So done with that one already. Because I want to save some time here so we can talk about your homework. Alright, so then 2, we're going to do the triangular prism. So that's base times height, right? The area of the base times the height. So what's that area of my base going to be? So first of all, what's the base of it? A triangle, good job. So how am I going to find the area of that triangle? 7 times 13 divided by 2, remember? Because if this is 13, this has to be 13. So that gives me right there what my triangle is going to be. So 7 times 13 divided by 2. So my base is going to be 7 times 13 divided by 2, which let me just do here for you. And that is 45.5. Okay. But now what do I got to multiply by? The height. which is going to be this. It's going to be my 6. Nice work. I'm kind of going through this fast, but I want to make sure we have time to talk about your homework. And that's inches cubed again. So now what? Yep, let's add them. So 624 plus 273, 7, 9, 8 inches cubed. If you are not sure how to find something, go back to your notebook. Everything is in your notebook. There's one like this in your homework today. I want to make sure you knew how to do it. Okay. You guys have any questions for me? Gonna give it a whirl?